Disney Big Hero 6 Read-Along Storybook. In an alley in San Francisco, a robot battle was about to begin. Mr. Yama, the undefeated champion, was looking for a challenger. 14-year-old genius Hiro Hamada stepped forward with his invention, Megabot. Mr. Yama laughed at Hiro's small robot but agreed to battle. Hiro just smirked as he placed his robot in the ring. Megabot, destroy! Within minutes, Megabot had wrecked Mr. Yama's robot. Mr. Yama was angry. Luckily, at that moment, Hiro's older brother, Tadashi, rode up on his scooter. Together, the two brothers raced away from Mr. Yama and his goons. Once they got home, Hiro wanted to go to another bot fight across town, but Tadashi was worried about his little brother. He knew that Hiro could do greater things. When are you gonna start doing something with that big brain of yours? Hiro just shook his head. What? Go to college like you so people can tell me stuff I already know? Tadashi was a genius too. He studied at the San Francisco Institute of Technology. He wanted his brother to sign up for classes, but Hiro was not interested. Suddenly, an idea came to Tadashi. He agreed to take Hiro to his bot fight. On the way to the bot fight, Tadashi needed to stop by his lab. There, Hiro met Tadashi's friends, Gogo, Wasabi, Honey Lemon, and Fred. They were working on their own inventions. Gogo was using electromagnets to make the fastest bike ever. Wasabi was working on a high-powered laser. And Honey Lemon was formulating a chemical reaction that could turn a big ball of metal into a pile of pink dust. Hiro was impressed by all of Tadashi's friends and their inventions. The only one who wasn't a student or an inventor was Fred. He was the school's mascot. Next, Tadashi showed Hiro his own invention, a robot named Baymax, who had been programmed to take care of people who were sick or hurt. Tadashi stuck a piece of duct tape on Hiro's arm and then pulled it off. Ow! Hey! Hey! When Hiro yelped, Baymax activated. Hello, I am Baymax, your personal healthcare companion. I was alert to the need for medical attention when you said ow. On a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate your pain? Tadashi watched proudly as Baymax scanned Hiro for injuries. He's gonna help a lot of people. Hiro was amazed by his brother's invention. As the brothers were leaving the lab, they ran into Tadashi's teacher, Professor Callahan, a famous scientist. The professor looked at Hiro's bot. With your bot, winning must come easy. Hiro shrugged. Yeah, I guess. Well, if you like things easy, then my program isn't for you. We push the boundaries of robotics here. My students go on to shape the future. Good luck with the bot fight. As soon as Hiro and Tadashi got outside, Hiro turned to his brother. I have to go here. If I don't go to this nerd school, I'm gonna lose my mind. Tadashi smiled. His plan had worked. To get into the San Francisco Institute of Technology, Hiro would have to enter an invention in the school's upcoming robotics showcase. If he impressed the judges, he could become a student. Hiro knew he needed to come up with an amazing invention, but he was having trouble thinking of an idea. I got nothing. I'm done. I'm never getting in. Tadashi encouraged his little brother. Shake things up. Use that big brain of yours to think your way out. And then finally, Hiro came up with a plan. He worked hard to get his project just right. The night of the showcase arrived. Standing before the crowd, Hiro was nervous, but ready to show off his invention. This is a microbot. It doesn't look like much, but when it links up with the rest of his pals, things get a little more interesting. Hiro taped the special headband he wore that allowed him to control the tiny robot with his mind. At Hiro's command, the microbots could join together to form any shape or accomplish any task. If you can think it, the microbots can do it. The only limit is your imagination. The crowd went wild. Everyone loved the microbots. After the showcase, a businessman named Alistair Cray even offered Hiro a lot of money for them. Hiro thought about it, but he turned Cray down. I appreciate the offer, Mr. Cray, but they're not for sale. Just then, Professor Callahan approached Hiro. He was so impressed with Hiro's microbot that he invited Hiro to become a student at the institute. Hiro was very excited. Outside the showcase hall, Hiro turned to Tadashi. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you. So, thanks for not giving up on me. Just then, people began running from the hall. A fire had broken out, and Professor Callahan was still inside. Tadashi started to run toward the hall. Tadashi, no! Hiro tried to stop his brother, but it was no use. Tadashi rushed in to find the professor. Moments later, an explosion knocked Hiro to the ground. Tadashi was gone. As the days passed with Tadashi gone, Hiro stayed in his room and kept to himself. Nothing seemed to matter anymore. Then one day, Hiro dropped something on his foot. Ow! Ah! Ow! To his surprise, Baymax appeared. Hello, I am Baymax, your personal healthcare companion. I heard a sound of distress. What seems to be the trouble? Hiro didn't want anything to do with Baymax, but Baymax would not turn off. I cannot deactivate until you say you are satisfied with your care. As Hiro tried to figure out a way to deactivate Baymax, he noticed something moving under his bed. It was the microbot that had been in his sweatshirt pocket on the night of the showcase. It was moving around, trying to find the other microbots, but all of them had been destroyed in the fire. This doesn't make any sense. Baymax looked at it. Your tiny robot is trying to go somewhere. Hiro shrugged, uninterested. Oh yeah? Why don't you find out where it's trying to go? Baymax was programmed to help Hiro, so he followed the microbot. Hiro couldn't let anything happen to his brother's robot. Reluctantly, he took off out the door after him. Hiro chased Baymax all over San Francisco until he finally caught up with the big robot outside an abandoned warehouse. Baymax turned to Hiro. I have found where your tiny robot wants to go. Helping each other, Hiro and Baymax climbed through a window. Once inside, Hiro looked around to find something astonishing. His microbots were there. along with a machine that was making thousands more. Suddenly, the microbots began to assemble. Hiro and Baymax spotted a mysterious man in a mask moving toward them. At the masked man's command, the microbots swarmed together and attacked Hiro and Baymax. Only by thinking quickly were the two able to escape and make their way home. While Baymax recharged, Hiro thought about what had happened at the warehouse. His microbots hadn't been destroyed in the fire. The masked man had stolen them. And if the masked man was responsible for the fire, he's responsible for Tadashi. Hiro could barely contain his anger. We gotta catch that guy. Baymax would do anything to make Hiro feel better. Will apprehending the man in the mask improve your emotional state? Hiro nodded. If we're gonna catch that guy, you need some upgrades. The big robot wasn't programmed to fight. So Hiro quickly got to work, programming Baymax with new karate moves and building him a special suit of armor. Soon Baymax was battle ready. To celebrate, Hiro taught Baymax how to fist bump. Ba la 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 la. Hiro and Baymax returned to their warehouse, but the microbots were gone, and the masked man was nowhere to be found. So the pair followed Hiro's microbot again, hoping it would lead them to the rest of the microbots. The bot led them to a pier. Suddenly, through the fog, a wave of microbots appeared, with the masked man riding on top of them. But before Hiro could confront him, a car pulled up. Baymax had contacted Go-Go, Wasabi, Honey Lemon, and Fred to help Hiro. When the mystery man spotted them, he ordered the microbots to attack. Just in time, Go-Go pulled Hiro into the car and they drove away. The man chased after their car, riding the swarm of microbots. Hiro was angry. Stop the car! Baymax and I can take this guy. But Hiro's friends weren't about to let anything happen to him. With Baymax's help, they were able to escape to safety. Hiro and his friends went to Fred's house to regroup. They had to figure out who the masked man was. Fred suggested that it might be Alistair Cray. Since Hiro hadn't sold the businessman his microbots, maybe Cray had stolen them instead. It was possible, but Hiro wanted to be sure. If he upgraded Baymax programs again, the big robot could scan the whole city until he located the masked man. But Hiro and Baymax wouldn't be able to stop him alone. Hiro looked around at his friends. Actually, if we're gonna catch this guy, I need to upgrade all of you. Fred was excited. You guys, do you feel this? Our origin story begins. We're gonna be superheroes. Hiro created a unique super suit for each of his friends. Go-Go's suit had electromagnetic wheels like her bikes, allowing her to speed around and throw discs from her wrists. Honey Lemon's suit came with a purse that contained a portable chemistry lab. Wasabi's had gloves with lasers in them that could slice through anything. And Fred's suit made him look like a monster. When he was wearing it, he could jump really high and breathe fire. Baymax's new armor had a rocket fist and wings. And thanks to the magnets Hiro had sewn into his own suit, he would be able to ride through the air stuck to Baymax's back. The team practiced using their new suit. Then they came up with a game plan. The villain's mask, controlled the microbot, so taking it away was the only way they could stop him. Later that day, Hiro climbed on Baymax's back for their first big flight. The ride was a little bumpy at the beginning, but soon Baymax was soaring through the air like a pro. Hiro was thrilled. Yes! Woohoo! The treatment is working! On their initial flight, Baymax used his scanner to detect the masked man. He was located on an island called Akuma across the bay. Later that day, the group flew to Akuma, where they found an abandoned lab formerly owned by Aleister Crey. As the team looked around, they activated video footage of an experiment led by Crey. The footage showed a young pilot named Abigail being sent in a pod through a teleportation portal. But the experiment went wrong and the portal exploded. The team was stunned. The masked man had to be Crey. Just then, the masked man attacked them. Using their new suit, the team attempted to fight back. In the chaos, Hiro managed to pull off the man's mask. It was Professor Callahan. Hiro was confused. But the explosion, you died. No, I had your microbot. The professor explained how he had used the microbots to protect himself. Furious that the professor hadn't helped his brother, Hiro ordered Baymax to attack Callahan. Baymax, destroy! Baymax shook his head. My programming prevents me from injuring a human being. Not anymore. In a rage, Hiro ripped out the green nurse chip Tadashi had put into Baymax's chest. Baymax pointed his rocket fist at Callahan and tried to blast him, but Hiro's friends stopped the big robot, allowing Callahan to escape. Angry and frustrated, Hiro flew off on Baymax. Back at home, Hiro wanted to go after Callahan and get revenge. But Baymax didn't want to hurt anyone. That was not why Tadashi had created him. He showed Hiro a video of his brother. Tadashi is here. The video showed Tadashi trying again and again to get Baymax to activate. When he finally did, Tadashi was overjoyed. You're gonna help so many people, buddy. So many. As Hiro watched the video, his anger began to fade. Tadashi had wanted to help people, not hurt them. He would have been disappointed if Hiro used his invention to harm someone. Just then, Hiro's friends arrived with something Hiro needed to see. Gogo played video footage that showed Callahan yelling at Crey after the failed portal experiment. They flipped through to the end of the video and they saw Callahan saying goodbye to Abigail, the pilot, who was his daughter. Callahan wanted to use the microbots to punish Crey for the loss of his daughter. Fred was shocked. This is a revenge story. Hiro looked at his friends. So, what are we waiting for? The group rushed to Crey's new company headquarters to find him addressing an audience. Suddenly, Callahan appeared. You took everything from me when you sent Abigail into that machine. Now I'm taking everything from you. At Callahan's command, the microbot reassembled the remaining parts of the portal from the lab. Crey's new building started to get sucked into the open portal. Somehow Hiro and the team had to stop Callahan. Then Hiro got an idea. Go for the mask. Without it, Callahan wouldn't be able to control the microbots. Together, the team tried to stop Callahan, but he was too strong. Hiro realized they needed a new plan. Forget the mask. Take out the bots. They will get sucked up into the portal. Using their super suits, the team chipped away at the columns of microbots. One by one, the bots got sucked into the portal, and without them, Callahan was finally defeated. But the danger wasn't over yet. The portal was still open. It started to break apart. Hiro had to get his friends to safety. We need to get out of here now. The team turned to run when suddenly Baymax noticed something. He pointed at the portal. My sensor is detecting signs of life coming from there. It was Callahan's daughter. She was still alive. Hiro jumped onto Baymax's back and they flew into the portal to save Abigail. Dodging the swirling debris, they sped through the vortex. Dodging the swirling debris, they sped through the vortex until they found her still in her pod, unconscious. Hiro grabbed Abigail's pod, but suddenly a large chunk of concrete hit Baymax, damaging his armor. Without it, Baymax couldn't fly, but he could still save Hiro and Abigail by using his rocket fist to propel them through the portal before it closed. He turned to Hiro. I cannot deactivate until you say you are satisfied with your care. Hiro shook his head. Please, no, I can't lose you too. Hiro, I will always be with you. Tearfully, Hiro hugged his best friend goodbye. I'm satisfied with my care. With that, Baymax detached from his rocket fist and drifted away. Thanks to Baymax, Hiro and Abigail made it back through the portal just in time. Hiro and his friends had saved the day. Abigail was safe. Callahan went to jail. And Hiro finally became a student at the San Francisco Institute of Technology, just like Tadashi had hoped. He even got to use Tadashi's old lab space. As Hiro unpacked his things, he placed Baymax's rocket fist on his desk. Smiling sadly, Hiro gave it a fist bump. Ba-la-la-la-la. The robot fist uncurled. That was when Hiro spotted Baymax's green nurse chip. In no time, Hiro had rebuilt Baymax. I am Baymax, your personal healthcare companion. Hello, Hiro. Hiro, Go-Go, Wasabi, Honey Lemon, Fred, and Baymax were heroes. If another danger ever threatened San Francisco, they would be ready. We didn't set out to be superheroes, but sometimes life doesn't go the way you planned. The good thing is my brother wanted to help a lot of people, and that's what we're gonna do. Who are we? They were the Big Hero 6.